welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is all about planning and budgeting, so if those are topics that you are also interested in, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. In today's video, we are going to close out our budget for the month of July. I am so excited. It's bright and early Sunday morning, which is why I'm still in my pajamas, because I woke up and I was like, let's do this, let's get this done. I'm so excited. This has been a crazy month if you've been following along with us since the beginning. But I am using the Budget by Paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom. I do have a link to her website in the description box below. I'm also using these category budget stickers from Cara Jo Plans. I have a link to her Etsy shop in the description box below, as well as a coupon code for all of my YouTube viewers. All the rest of the stickers that you'll see in today's plan with me are from my Etsy shop, Life in Envelopes, and I do have a link to that in the description box below, as well as a coupon code for all of my YouTube viewers. Okay, let's take a look first at the expense tracker. We are closing out the budget today, so that means we are going to be doing those worksheets at the back of the notebook. We're going to be doing that at the end of the budget, so make sure you stick around for that. So we have, first, the way I use her expense trackers is I do one expense tracker per week. I highlight by budget category, and then I make a key at the bottom where I put the total for each category. This comes in very helpful when we go to close out the budget at the end of the month. I can just go and look at the four budget keys to add together the total for each category. It makes it go so much faster than trying to go back and add every item individually. Okay, so let's take a look at the monthly spread and see where we spent our money this last week of July. Starting with debt, so we had the student loan did come out, and that was $73. I am currently using a, what's it called? IDR, income driven repayment plan. I don't know, like in the long term, if that's a good thing, but for right now, it really helps my family when we are considered like low income at this point in time. So it's really helping us out at that right now. Also, loan number 2, we were able to pay that this week, which was $568. It feels so good to be able to pay that. We were saving a little bit each week, well, a lot, $142 each week to pay that bill, and it just feels so satisfying to have reached that goal. Okay, moving on to bills. So we had 2 bills that came out. We had HBO that came out for $17. And then this one actually did not come out this week, but it came out the first week, and I somehow missed it. So that's why I'm including it now, because it did come out of our budget. We do need to withdraw that money from our budget. So this is for State Farm. It came out the first week and it was $132. I debated about whether I should stick it on the first week or stick it here, but I decided to go ahead and stick it here since this is where I'm going to actually, on the worksheet, the budget worksheet that we're going to get to in a minute, that's where I'm going to take it from. So I did stick it on this week, even though it actually came out that first week of July. Okay, moving on to food. So we're currently doing a combination of swiping and cash, and I don't know why I didn't think of doing this strategy earlier, you guys. This has worked really, really well for us. So we swipe at Sam's, and this week we spent $100 at Sam's, which is our goal. So looking at the last couple weeks, so we actually have a range. We want to spend $100, but we're allowed to spend up to $150. So last week we spent $110, the week before $120. This was including both Sam's and the cash. I started separating them after that week. But so it's really helped us keep on track this week, this month. So we had $80 to spend in cash. We actually want to do $200 for food approximately, but we do savings challenges where we take some money out of our cash, our food cash envelope, and we put it towards savings challenges. So we're going to get to those numbers in just a minute here. So that's why it's not quite 100. Okay, and then moving on to gas. So gas has been interesting this month. This is the first month where we've gone above budget in gas for many, many months. So we do a cash envelope for gas. We pull out $20 a week. So we did do that. But when we filled up, we usually fill up every other week. When we filled up, it cost a total of $45. So the 20 from the week before, the 20 for this week, plus $5 more. So I wanted to make sure that I tracked that. So altogether, we spent $45 on gas. This week alone, it was 20 plus 5. Okay, and then we have our miscellaneous expenses. We spent $45 on miscellaneous expenses. And then for spending, we had $45. These all say cash because I take out the cash and I put them in our cash envelopes, but I know what category they are based on their color. So if it's yellow, it's miscellaneous. If it's orange, it's spending, etc., etc. Okay, moving on to our savings challenges and our sinking funds. So this week, we were able to put $155 towards our savings challenge. Part of that was additional income that came in midweek, and I went ahead and just put it straight towards our savings challenge. I discussed that in the cash envelope stuffing video if you want to go back and watch that. And then the rest of it came from our food envelope and our miscellaneous envelope. So total, it was $155. And then we also did our sinking funds this week, which was $172, which is also cash. Okay, so that's where we spent our money, but let's take a closer look at the budget worksheet for week 4. Okay, so starting with the rollover, we had a rollover of $182. My payday, I was going to pay myself $500, which I did, but then midweek I got more money, some money that was unexpected. We had an extra check from ShareASale, which is my affiliate links down in the description box below. I have affiliate links to LONDONTOWN and ERIN CONDREN, and somebody made purchases, and so I got a check from that, and then also buy me a coffee. Some people bought me coffees this week, and I did give them a shout out. I don't have their names right now, but I did give them a shout out in the cash envelope stuffing video. So I always give them a shout out. I just shout out the first names of the people who give me, buy me a coffee. But there sometimes are anonymous people as well, so of course I can't shout them out. But anyways, okay, so instead of $500, we had $650. Okay, for cash, we deposited $568 to cover this bill here. We went ahead and deposited that this week so that we could pay that bill. So all together, let's see how much that came to. Okay, that came to $1,400 even. Okay, so coming down here to our fixed expenses. So I have two types of fixed expenses. I have debts and I have bills. And the way I've categorized them for myself mentally to keep them separate, a debt is something that's eventually going to get paid off, and a bill will always exist. That's just basically the way I do it. Okay, so loan number 2, we paid $568. State Farm, $132. Again, this came out week 1, but we never counted it, so I'm counting it now. HBO came out and it was $17. Student loan came out and it was actually $73, not $72. So let me add all that together. That's $790. So we were really close. We thought it was going to be $789. It was $790. I did go back today and I added this. I wanted to see how much I budgeted for each of these categories just to make I did that for every week. To make my worksheets that I do, like closing out the month, the worksheets that are at the back of the notebook, this just made that easier having this information here. Okay, so $1,400 minus $790. That leaves us with $610. Okay, we're going to bring that down to our variable expenses, our cash envelopes. So for food this week, we did end up spending only the $180. Sometimes that number is a little different, but this week it was actually only $180. Let me make sure. Yeah, $100 at Sam's and then $80 in cash, so $180. For gas, we ended up spending $25. So let me just, it cost us $45 to fill up our tank. We already had $20 in our envelope. We added another 20 to our envelope this week, plus it cost us an extra 5 on top of that. So for this week, the cost of gas was $25 for our budget. Miscellaneous was $45 and spending was $45. So let's see how much we spent in our cash envelopes or our variable expenses all together. $295. So we were just $5 above budget, and that was the gas. So $610 minus $295, that's $315. So I'm going to bring that up to our sinking funds. So one interesting thing to note here is that even though I'm doing loan number 2 as a sinking fund, this is a bill. So when I do my final numbers at the end of the month, I don't count this as a sinking fund, I count it as a bill, and I only count these categories as sinking funds. So for example, every week we're taking out $172 to cover these envelopes, these cash envelopes, but only, let's see, only 30 of that is actually sinking funds, and the rest is a bill that I'm doing week to week. So that's why at the end of the month, so $30 every week times 4 weeks is $120. So when we do sinking funds at the end of the month, you'll see that it's $120 and it's not that $172 times 4. Okay, car maintenance. We were able to do all of our goals this week, so that's 5, 5, 10, 5, and 5, and 142. So altogether that was 172. So 315 minus 172 is 143. So we were left with 143. So I'm going to bring that down. We're not doing extra debt right now. That's not our focus. Our focus is building up a $1,000 cushion in our account so that we can just rest easier, so we can breathe easier and have some money in the account at all times. So as things come out throughout the month, we know we can cover it. That's the ultimate goal for this first financial goal that we're working on. So, so we had 143. So this week for our cushion, we did put $20 during the savings challenge, but I also added $130 later in the week when we had that extra money come in. So we ended up putting 100 and wait, is that right? Yeah, 150 total. We did go negative, but we'll talk about that. So we did 150 into that envelope, and then I deposited $500 from the envelope into our bank account. So we were able to do a $500 cushion. So we had a $500 cushion for a couple days before we went negative. Homeschool was exactly 5. So altogether, we ended up negative. So let's see, 143 minus 155. So we ended up with a negative $12, which ended up being okay because I was able to put that $500 cushion in our account. So when we went negative, that cushion helped with that impact. So when I start the next month, I want to make sure that I remember that we were negative 12 so I can put that money back into our cushion right away. I want to get that cushion back up to $500 right away. Okay, so our total savings for this week would have been 150 plus 50 plus 5 minus 12. So that's 143, and 143 minus 143 is 0. What that means is I like to zero out the account, meaning that I have a place for all of my money. This has been quite a month. Very, very exciting month. So let me think for a second. You know, I should have put deposited 500 because we're not negative 12. We have some money in our account. I'm going to quickly do that. I'm not going to torture you with watching me do that, but let me quickly do that. I'll just fast forward this part and then we'll see how much I actually have in my account. Okay, much better. So now that I've corrected that, So our rollover is actually $488. Now we want this to be $500 because we want this to be our rollover slash cushion, our $500 cushion. So we want that to be $500. So we still need to add the $12 at the beginning of next month to bring that up to $500 right away. Okay, so now that week 4 is done, let's close out all those worksheets at the back of the month. Okay, friends, so full disclosure, I have done these over and over again. I've gotten myself really confused because of the amount of money that I used from our savings challenges and like the money that we found in our treasure box and all that. So I really confused myself. I have taken a break, stepped away from this, come back, worked on it some more. Anyways, I'm just gonna leave it at this point. So let me show you what I've done. I don't know if it's 100% accurate. Like I said, I really struggled this month to figure things out, but it is interesting. There are some interesting things to learn here. So first of all, our starting balance was $0. We earned $4,042 this month. We had $0 in other income, and then I used $500 in savings. So that was depositing the money from our savings challenge to make a $500 cushion. Is that right? Yeah. So altogether, it came to $45.42 for our total monthly inflow. Okay, coming down here, I put all the budget categories, the amount that we budgeted, how much we spent, and what the difference was. And then I calculated the percent of total monthly inflow. So for example, for bills, we budgeted $627. We actually spent $581. That's a difference of $46. So we did not spend as much as we had budgeted. So to calculate the percentage of total inflow, we take this number, the month spent, so $581. We divide it by the total monthly inflow, which was $45.42. We multiply that times 100, and that will give us our percentage. So it came to 12.79, which I rounded up to 13%. So 13% of our budget went to bills. For debt, we paid a little bit more for debt than we originally planned, and our total month and our percentage of total monthly inflow was 46%. Food, we ended up spending $15 less than our budget, and our total monthly inflow was 17%. For gas, we went actually way above our original budget, so we ended up spending $66 more this month on gas than we originally budgeted, which was 3% of our total monthly inflow. Miscellaneous, we budgeted $200, we spent $190, so that's a difference of $10, and that's 4% of our total monthly inflow. For spending, it was $180 was our budget, that's how much we actually spent, so that's a difference of 0, and that's 4% of our budget. For savings, we didn't budget anything because these were challenges and they came out of other categories, but we did end up being able to spend $185. So that's a difference of $185, and that was 4% of our budget. So we were able to save 4% of our budget this week or this month. Sinking funds, we budgeted $120, we saved $120, so that's a difference of 0, and that was 3% of our budget. And finally, our rollover, we had a goal of $500, we were able to save $488. That's a difference of $12, and that's 11% of our budget. Okay, moving on to where did my money go? We're going to take a closer look at debt and savings. So for debt, you're going to start with the total monthly inflow, which is this number right here. So that's $45.42. Savings is only looking at the total monthly income, which is this number here, $4,042. Okay, so let's take a look at debt. So we had mortgage, SUV, student loans, and loan number 2. So we're going to calculate what percent this category went to debt. So our monthly debt payoff amount was $20.94. Got that number from over here. So $13.34 divided by $20.94. That's 64%. So 64% of this total amount went towards our mortgage. Okay, let's calculate the SUV. $6 went to our SUV. Now student loans. 3% went to student loans, so that leaves loan number 2. So 27% went to loan number 2. Okay, percent of inflow to debt, that's 2094 divided by 4542 times 100. So 46% of our inflow went to debt. Okay, let's take a look at our savings. So all together, we had the 155, the 120, and the 488. So 763 went to savings. So 155 divided by 763 times 100. 20% of this 763 went to our savings challenge. Let's see how much went to our sinking funds. 16% went to our sinking funds, and then finally rollover. The rest went to rollover. So 488 divided by 763 times 100. So 64% went to rollover. Okay, so to calculate the percent of income saved, we're going to take the 763 divided by the 42 and multiply that times 100. So that's 19%. So 19% of our income went to savings. Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, so moving on to the very last page of where did my money go, we're going to look at the July monthly spending comparison. So first, let's take a look at the inflow. So in July, we had an inflow of 4542. In June, we had an inflow of 4013. So let's calculate what the difference was. So we had $529 more to work with this month than we did last month. I also like to take a look at the income because my income is variable. So last month we had an income of $2,092. This month we had an income of $4,042. So let's see what the difference was. So we made $1,950 more this month than we did last month. That is amazing. Thank you guys so much to everyone who supported us any way that you supported us this month. I really, really appreciate it. Whether you bought stickers from my Etsy shop, or you bought us a coffee, or you used my affiliate links, everything that you guys do, you watch the videos, you give a thumbs up, all of that helps us out, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, so moving on to comparing each category. So for bills, in June, we spent 15% of our budget on bills. In July, we spent 13% of our budget on bills. So that's 2% less this month than we spent the month before. Looking at debt, last month we spent 38% of our budget. This month we spent 46% of our budget. So that's an increase. So 46 minus 38. So we actually increased in this category by 8%. Okay, food, I'm so proud of us, you guys. Look at this. We spent $13.40 last month and only $7.85 this month. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of us. So 33 minus 17. So we spent 16% less. Holy cow, that is a lot. Oh, okay. For gas, we spent 1% more than last month. Miscellaneous, we spent 2% less, which is interesting because I did cash envelopes. I love that. Oh my gosh, we did so good. Spending, we spent 1% less. Oh, that's because we had more income, because we actually spent the exact same amount, but we had more income, so it was less percent of our income. Interesting. Savings, we spent 4% more. Sinking funds, we spent 3% more. And our rollover cushion, we were able to roll over 10% more this month than we were able to roll over last month. Wow. Oh my gosh. This was a fun month. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And the next time I come to you, which actually will be tomorrow, I will set up our August budget. So I hope you will come back and join me for that. See you again next time. Bye, everyone.